Hello, everyone, and welcome to Think Yourself Healthy podcast. I'm your host, Heather Duranja. Let's dive into today's episode. Hello, everybody. On today's episode of Think Yourself Healthy, I have special guest Natalie Kwait. I met Natalie in January of 2020, before what we knew was going to change the world occurred. Her and I came together at an incredible event that was in Phoenix, and I absolutely fell in love with her energy. I'm excited to have an opportunity to interview Natalie today because, in my opinion, she is one of the humans who have had the ability to truly embody playfulness and inner child into their everyday life. And she does it with such grace and compassion and just inspiration for others. So I want to share some of her experiences and expertise with you guys because I think she has a lot of value to bring to the table when it comes to having a better understanding of how we can stop taking ourselves so seriously. Natalie, thank you so much for being with us today.
Thank you so much for having me. I love how you ended that about not taking ourselves so seriously.
Right.
I mean, come on.
Right?
Why are we here in life? Yes, 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 yes. Bring it on. More joy, more lightness.
Absolutely. I'm turning 46 tomorrow. It's my 46th birthday. And everyone's asked me, "Oh, what do you want to do?" And I'm like, "I want to play." That's all I want to do. I want to play. And so I am going to honor my inner child tomorrow with nothing but playful activities that most adults don't feel safe with engaging in. They fear judgment and criticism for, being so open with embracing these kinds of things. But I feel like it's a necessary component of being present and being able to live life to the fullest.
Yes, I so agree with you. Oh my gosh, in every way. And now it's fun to look back on our lives, right? And think about how many moments, how many times, how many years we spent in this like crazy serious mind, or it's just like, come on, let's snap out of it, see what else is really here for us. And
Absolutely.
I've seen play actually as a practice. It's not something that has just come to me naturally, even though inside of me, people are like, you're so playful, you're so fun, you're so much like a child. And I'm like, yes, but if you really knew me, you would know that it has been a journey. It has been a journey of getting to where I am right now. Like it wasn't the kind of thing that playing was like just, yeah, I can just snap into it. It's been, even when I went on my nomadic journey and I was between 2017 through 2020. I mean, even during that time, I was so aware, but had so much love for my little girl that, like, oh, I would go on an adventure and I'd still be in my mind like, should I be doing this? Is it okay that I'm taking this time to be doing this? Like, but you really should be working harder. You really should be making this much money, or like all the stories, like, and it just got to the point where, you know what? I literally burnt myself out from exhaustion of those toxic thoughts that don't get us anywhere, and they break us into pieces, not in a great way. It just, it's like, hey, we came here to this world as perfect children of God. That's who we are. So we came here to explore, we came here to adventure, we came here to enjoy, literally be in joy, not to be serious, not to be stressed out with life.
Wow.
So
I could not agree more. I think that part of, our souls choosing to come to planet Earth is because we desired to experience the physical body and engage in all of the senses, right? That's the beauty of this whole human experience, is that we get to be in a body and we get to engage in all of these six senses. Most of us only utilize five, but we have six. And so part of that journey is being able to connect with that pure innocence, that pure love that we incarnated here with. And most of us, through societal conditioning and programming, have disconnected from that piece and part of us at very, very early ages. Now it's happening even earlier than when you and I were much younger. You know, Natalie, I want to share with you, I think you'll appreciate this. I have two pictures that sit at my desk. One is 4-year-old Heather. The
Oh,
other one is 8-year-old Heather. The
uh,
8-year-old Heather specifically is when she stopped being allowed to be a child and she was forced to have to be an adult. So whenever I find myself taking myself too seriously, I connect with those photos and I remind myself that I am worthy and deserving of connecting with that little girl who didn't get to do the things at the age appropriate time that society has set for us, right? So I embrace it. I absolutely love it.
I
And
love that. I love that so much.
you
Yeah.
are one of my favorite people to follow on social media because everything, you're just so honest, you're so real. You know, when I'm engaging with your work, with your stories, your post, it's just pure innocence and imagination that I
Mm,
am witnessing in real time.
thank you. Oh my gosh, that touches my heart. It's so sweet to I receive that. I
Well,
receive that.
you give others permission, girl. You give others permission to truly be themselves. And we have to lead by example. We have to lead by example. And I think that both you and I know we're both, hardworking entrepreneurs, but neither of us take ourselves so seriously that we forget to make room for play.
I love that. We would have a lot of fun together if we were in person. I think that's I like that idea of making that happen.
Oh, I agree. I think that that will definitely be in our future. And I have felt that, being cultivated since the day that you and I encountered one another in that big room in Phoenix.
And I remember feeling so touched. I remember when you gave me your card, and I was like, this woman, of all the people, there was just a few people. I'm like, I have to stay in touch with her.
Yeah. Well, I'm telling you, whenever I start to feel disconnected from that playful side, I actively seek out you because you are so open and you are just so it's just so beautiful, Natalie. I just absolutely love everything that you bring to the table. So, how are you able to break free from these paradigm shifts that we're conditioned and programmed into? How did you have the ability to break free from this and allow your true authentic self to just step forward and be present?
I love that question. I love that question. Well, for me, what it came to was that I just made a decision after noticing and recognizing from strangers that they could feel like this wall around me. And it happened when I was in Bali. I'll never forget. I had just sold everything, all my stuff. I was like, okay, I don't know what's happening, but I know I'm here to experience absolute magnificence. And I know that wherever this takes me, it's absolutely perfect. And so I remember I had this exchange of energy with this one woman, and she said to me, she's like, you're like this river and you have this flow to you. But then all of a sudden there's like this, and you just like stop. And she's like, but that's not who you really are. And I remember her wanting to like really get to know me. And I was like, oh my gosh, here's this person. We're just getting to know each other. And somehow she can really feel my presence. And it was just and I had been doing so much work on myself, Heather, like I mean, all my life,
Right?
therapy, energy healing, vision quest. I mean, I've done it all. And it wasn't until here I am in 2017. I was 36. I had just turned 36? Yeah. And now I'm 41. Yeah. A lifetime. It just like no such thing. But here I was, and I just, something about that exchange where I was like, yeah, I get to be my biggest wild self. And when people really feel me is when I'm laughing at the top of my lungs, when I'm dancing with my entire body, where people are just like, yeah, girl, bring it on. I want to hear that voice. I want to see that body. And so it was something just clicked inside of me. And I was like, yeah, yep. From this moment forward, like that serious me, that's not who I truly am. I might sometimes still come off like I notice myself even in those back then and even now, like sometimes I'm like, oh, here's serious you. But now I just can laugh at me, I laugh at me, I laugh with me. And it's just a matter of, it's the amount of compassion and understanding I have for myself and where I've come from. And I think it also helps me to just really understand other people. Like I have this ability to just drop in with people and to see the children inside of them. So it's just like this, I don't, it just comes in all shapes and forms.
I think it's so beautiful, you know. So what I'm hearing you say is that you made a choice. It was a
Mhm.
choice. It wasn't a feeling that overcame you. It was a choice. An awareness was brought about, and you decided, this isn't how I want to be. This is not in alignment with my true self and how I want to show up in the world every day. So from that choice, you were able to surrender all of the narratives, all of the stories, all of the expectation and outcome of what others have put upon us. And you decided to just step in and truly own who you are.
Absolutely. I like, it was like this. I'm like, yep, I'm unstoppable. I'm unapologetic. I don't give a shit about what other people think of me, because what I really know is true is that I'm constantly instigating that, bringing out who that person truly is. So it's like when I show up as me, I get that other person gets to see who they truly are.
Oh,
Right. So it's
great.
like I'm constantly giving that permission, and I don't even know. I'm just showing up as me, just being who I am, and then magic happens. It's
Ah,
just, it's fun. It's incredible.
it's so simple.
Yes, that's, oh yes, that word. I love that word.
So
Yes,
simple. And I think
yes.
this is part of why it's so challenging for more people to be able to embrace this perspective and mindset, because
Yeah.
we've been conditioned that everything in life, in order to achieve, it's got to be difficult, right?
Yes, and
Oh,
it's got to be complicated. Everything
gotta
has
be.
to be Oh my.
And so for entrepreneurs like you and I, right? We've been conditioned to believe we've got to work, do the grind, da 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 da. And that's the only way that we can truly achieve success. But you and I have both had the ability to say, I'm going to challenge that belief system. I'm going to choose to show up as myself. And by doing so, that's what attracts the clients. That's what attracts the other souls, because they're like, I kind of like the way of doing it her way. That
Mhm.
looks a lot more fun. That looks a lot more enjoyable. And in the process of doing that, it changes the trajectory of your entire reality. The illusion that was created for you drops out, and you just step into being present, living the life that we were meant to experience day in, day out.
Exactly. You stop wasting so much energy on these distractions, on everything that's taken your mind away from what actually truly matters.
Agreed.
And then you're really living your life. You're really living your life. Like we are here to live it, to be it, not to work so hard that we burn ourselves out, that we don't even know who we truly are. It's like, that's not why we're here.
Yeah, agreed. So, Natalie, I want to point something out. Okay. And so, for all the listeners, I'm going to encourage you to definitely check out the video, or at least go to Natalie's social media so you can see what I'm talking about. So, you just mentioned that you're 41. I'm going to be 46. I'm going to assume that when most people meet you, they are absolutely in disbelief of your biological age.
Every person, every single person. Yes.
So I
Yeah.
want to tie this into something that a statement that you made just a moment ago, where when we're putting all of this energy into not authentically being ourselves, it's literally draining our physical body, accelerating the aging process
Yeah.
because we don't have the capability of distributing the energy in ways that are going to support prolonging this youthful experience.
Absolutely. Oh my, you just hit it on so much so. And the big thing that I see here too, Heather, is that people that come to me have never felt supported.
Mhm.
Right? So those people that haven't, and people that are younger than me, that look older than me, and I'm like, hmm, you
Mhm.
know, what is that really about? And there's so much, this is coming from nothing but pure love because I know I've been there. I've exhausted myself. I've ended up with rheumatoid arthritis. I've ended up with Lyme. I've gotten all the shit, you know, but it's all been such a gift because it's brought me that much closer to who I truly am, to seeing that, wait a second, I'm not here to live a life of burnout, of exhaustion, of thinking something's always wrong with me. Like, I'm not here to live a life of being fearful of my own body. And you know, this is what you do in your work, right? But
Yeah.
it takes a lot to get there, to build that solid trust within yourself, to let yourself feel that that support that's just never going to go away, right? It's this beautiful relationship that we get to cultivate within ourselves, right? And that's what creates that longevity, like you're saying, right?
Right. Well, and it goes into this illusion when we incarnate here of separation, right? We are
Mhm.
separate from the creator. Therefore, we can't trust. We're in survival mode. The world is working against us. We're on our own. And so ultimately, from the get go, we're set up for failure in that sense with having the ability to truly trust ourselves and trust others and work in a cohesive manner rather than, it's me against the world.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I can so relate to that. Oh yeah. And I was so ashamed of having that story. I didn't want anybody to know that that's who I was. I couldn't, like, that I was labeling myself as that. Even when that woman came up to me in Bali when I first got there and told me how she saw me, I was like, you're seeing me? Like,
Oh,
don't look at, no, because I've always had I had that mask up, because I just didn't feel like it was truly safe to be who I am.
hmm
So it's such an absolute delight to connect with people like you, like that woman from Germany, like that's just like, yes, show
yeah,
me who you are. I want to connect more with you. I love feeling your heart.
absolutely. I mean,
That's intimacy.
it is. It's the real intimacy, right? And unfortunately, society cultivates intimacy as being this like extremely sexually promiscuous experience where we're just giving pieces and pieces and pieces of ourselves and we're never really truly receiving in the process what we need to be whole, to be complete, to have the ability to go within and trust everything about what we already have, need to know, and be able to embody in our daily experiences,
Mm.
right? I know all the feels.
Feeling it in my body.
All the feels. So tell me, there's so many people that have resistance to connecting with that inner child. And I'm going to share a quick example of something that just happened yesterday that was so beautiful. Okay, so with my daughters, with my children, from day one, I've always encouraged them play, 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 play. Mom was never the serious adult. I was always a child using imagination with them, helping to encourage them to cultivate that within themselves. So, in part of my Retrain Your Brain program, I have individuals do a inner child healing meditation that I've recorded myself personally. So my oldest daughter, has chosen to do this course, which was kind of scary, right, for both of us.
Ooh,
And
yeah.
what an honor for her to be able to put the trust in me to do the course, being that I am her mom. So she came over yesterday and she's like, Mom, I was doing your inner child healing meditation. And right before you said the part, I want you to picture your inner child, that little girl within you, and I want you to give her a hug. She's like, I was already doing that. And I was like, oh my gosh, that is so beautiful, right? I was like, oh, it just goes to show that those things that I did try to cultivate early on still resonated, right? They were still
Um,
within her. And then by me, saying those words after she was having that imaginational experience, it just validated what she was doing and reminded her of her true power. It was so beautiful.
love that. I love that so much. How old is she?
She's 26.
Wow.
Yeah, so she's 26 and she's sick and tired of her own shit. She's ready to like
Hmm.
break through all of the, traumas that were inherited, what she experienced in this lifetime. The divorce that her father and I went through was not easy. It was a very big, traumatic experience for both of my daughters. Their realities completely shifted, and these things have to be talked about. I can be honest and say that the podcast episodes that I've recorded with my girls are some of the most popular episodes. People really resonate with the things that we've talked about because we've been able to be very vulnerable and transparent and be honest and real, and then also through our experiences show others ways that we were able to break free of those shackles and embrace one another in this journey and turn it into something truly beautiful.
Oh, I love that. I love that so much. Yummy, 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 yummy,
Right?
yummy.
Yeah.
Yes.
So tell me, for all of the listeners who have the resistance, who, maybe they've heard do embrace the inner child, what advice do you have for them with being able to really step in and embrace that inner child, do that inner child work?
Mm, love it. Well, the first thing that comes to mind is a recent client of mine who was struggling with this. Like, she's like, I can't even see my child. I can't even see my child. I don't even, and I don't know her. And I sat with her and I just held that energy of that it's safe, it's safe, it's safe, it's safe. And the message that I'm getting in answer to your question is that, and I didn't even say these words to her, but then I just energetically shared it with her and gave her that space while I played the crystal bowl so she could really just drop into feeling herself, right? And knowing that there's just no hurries, nothing is urgent. She can just, whatever she senses is absolutely perfect. And so the message is that it's okay. And this almost makes me cry, even when it's not okay.
Mm.
Even when it's not okay, when you feel like it's not okay to be back in your with your inner child, even when you feel terrified of having any kinds of memories come up, even when you feel like you can't, when you don't have words to express yourself. And that's where she, what my client was feeling like, I can't go there, I don't know, this something is just not working. And it was that feeling of like, it's still okay, even when it's not okay. It's okay when you don't have your words. It's okay when you feel like you just need to be silent, that it's not okay to even speak right now because you're a child. So I feel like those specific words, and they're just so simple, that I had a mentor share with me about 4 years ago. And it totally changed my world because there was always this part of me that was living in extreme modes that I couldn't ever just drop in and be with my little girl and know that it was okay, even when it's not okay.
Mhm.
And that to me is everything because children just want to feel safe to express themselves. Children just want to feel like you're not going to run away from them, even when you don't know what to say, and that you're just really fully present with all of your little, all of them, all of the children that are, because we have multiple children within ourselves, right? And so that's what I would say. It's just the most simple thing, but it's so deep.
It's Honestly, it's so powerful, Natalie. You hit the nail on the head. And I think that many people have resistance to really doing the inner child healing because they can't even see their inner children. They don't know what they look like. And ironically enough, my daughter expressed last night when we were having this conversation, she said, Mom, it really scared me initially, this idea of trying to connect with that inner child, because I realized I didn't know what she looked like. I realized that I have suppressed so many memories from my childhood that I didn't know where to go and grab her hand and pull her out because I forgot what it looked like because there wasn't safety around that. So
Exactly.
you could not have articulated more perfectly the biggest barrier that is keeping individuals from being able to truly do this work. I
Yep.
mean, it's
Yeah.
mic drop. It's like, yeah,
And
unbelievable.
and that's the thing about trauma I'm constantly focused on with my clients is this coming home back to just the simple basics, right? Because if it was that simple when we were children, then we would have felt like, okay, I can have the tantrum. I can scream and cry at the top of my lungs because I know that no matter what, I'm not going to be left alone. I'm not going to feel like I'm being abandoned. I'm not going to feel like I'm being rejected. Like it is just so safe to be all of me, even when I don't feel like I'm okay.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm going to share with you in the audience something really personal, okay? And
Okay.
this is something that has come up for me recently. So I got married, and it's coming up on a year of getting married. And the relationship, this relationship is so different than any past relationships that my subconscious, that programmed core belief system from that wounded little girl who was abandoned at such an early age, who never felt worthy, never felt deserving, did not feel lovable, she keeps trying to creep in, right? And sabotage, because this is so unknown that my subconscious is like, no, this isn't safe. This can't be real. Da, da, da. Gotta create conflict, chaos, da, 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 da. So I recognized where I was standing in my own way, and that, these are belief systems that have to be dropped out, and it takes time, and we need support. And we have the most phenomenal marriage counselor that we are working with. I am pretty convinced that it is like my future self. Not kidding. Her name's Heather as well, which is like, what? So in,
Amazing.
in the last couple of weeks, some things came to light, and some traumas that were suppressed have started to surface. And I started getting a little frustrated, like, why do I have to have these memories? Like, why are these memories of little 4-year-old Heather coming up, and all of the terrible, things that were done to her, especially through sexual abuse? Why am I now having to have these memories? I always knew and suspected that was a part of it, but I didn't feel I necessarily had to have the memories and have it all brought to surface. So, needless to say, these last couple of weeks have been really challenging for me personally, managing all of these emotions, the anger, the sadness, all of the things that are coming up with these memories. So I was having a conversation with my therapist, and I was telling her, that there's a lot of fear in the relationship, that I'm fearful that if I show up and express myself and deal with what my inner child needs, that it's going to scare my husband away, right?
Oh yeah.
Telling myself all of these stories. And one of the things that have come to light over this last week is that ultimately, my whole life, I've been searching for a protector. I've been searching for someone to protect me, to keep me safe, to validate my experiences instead of gaslight me, tell me it wasn't true, tell me it wasn't happening, hold that space for me. But this is a very scary place to be in a relationship, because I've never had anything like this modeled to me before. So as I'm having conversation with my therapist, she brings awareness to me that that's exactly what my partner is doing for me. He hasn't gone away despite the ups and downs emotionally and me feeling angry and wanting to break shit and wanting to scream and yell and get angry and then wanting to just hysterically cry and sob and feel all of that pain that that child had to suppress. He's held the space for me. And she
Mm.
made me realize that's the protector I've been searching for my entire life. And
Oh.
so even though I went into a marriage relationship with expectations of how it was supposed to look,
Mm.
my partner is showing up for me in ways that I never imagined possible. And the beauty in this experience is so incredible, but the stories are still trying to come forward and sabotage it. And I just have to maintain that awareness and ebb and flow through it, right?
Mhm. Mhm. Girl, you got me crying. This is what I'm most scared of about going into relationship because I can feel my beloved coming into my world, and I just want to feel like you. Like, can I do this? What if I want to just scream at the top of my lungs? What if I want to be shaking my butt? Like, what if I just need to express these feelings? Like, are you not gonna, I'm so scared of just pushing him away and making him think that I'm just absolutely crazy and he won't be able to handle me, or
Right.
I'm like,
Well, one thing that I have experienced for myself with this relationship, I kind of went into it with this expectation I needed to be healed. I needed to be fully healed before I could show up and have a healthy,
yeah,
conscious relationship, right? But
totally.
through the relationship, what is happening is that because this space is being held for me, because there's this sacred union that is taking place, I am being allowed to now go into healing deeper than I ever imagined I would have had the capacity to do, which is why all of the sudden these subconscious memories are coming to light, because truly my inner child feels safe enough that they're ready to deal with this. They're ready to bring it out, let it go. And so in all reality, the healing does have to happen through relationships. We aren't going to be a perfectly healed person in order to show up and have that conscious sacred union that we all desire. Because also for me, I'm
Yeah.
also providing him that space to do his own inner child healing. And in the end, what it boils down to on both parts is trust in different ways, but
Mhm.
trust. And so through this, being able to expose who we truly are, be vulnerable, be transparent, show up, honor those inner children, do the work. The magic that's happening is so profound. I'm like, everybody needs to experience this. This
Yeah.
is goals. This
Goals. I
is
love
goals. This is
it.
goals, you know?
Yes. Oh my
And,
gosh. Girlfriend, you manifested that.
well,
Love it.
absolutely. I think that ultimately, we call in whatever is at our vibrational match. And so, as I do the work, as he does the work, it allows us to continue to raise that vibrational frequency of consciousness together, which allows for growth. And one thing when it comes to healing is that we have to shift our perspective that this is a one and done, that there is a linear goal, that there is an end point, because all we're doing is truly reducing the capacity for what potentially could be. If we can understand that healing is a evolution of growth with infinite possibilities, why would we want to set an endpoint?
Right. Of course.
Right? Like, why
Yeah.
would I want to be done?
Pointless. Yes.
Give me
Yes.
more. Bring it
Yeah.
on.
Yes. Totally.
So yeah, so I just think it's so cool, and I feel for you that That is coming into your near future, and you just have to embrace it and know that if this is the right person,
Mm.
then they are going to show up and allow you to be everything you are meant to be, despite whatever criticism and judgments you might have put upon showing up in whatever way is necessary.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm feeling that. I'm feeling that.
I feel it for you. So I feel like you're an individual who has done a incredible job of really recognizing your value, your presence, the value of your presence in life. Speak to me a little bit about that, how you got to this place and how others can do this for themselves.
That's such a great question. Another one, the value of my presence. Well, another, just being completely honest with you, another topic that was not an easy one for me, something that I really struggled with. It's in my human design that I've always been seeking acknowledgement and have never fully like allowed myself to receive when like even when like a parent, when my mom or my dad was saying to me, that's awesome, but it wasn't. I was like, but why? Tell me why. Well, I don't. I really. Give me more reasons. Give me more reasons. And so I've over the years seen that the only way for me to really feel like I'm a part of this world, like and that this world is about us continuing to grow and evolve together, is I've got to take responsibility for owning my value, for owning my gifts.
Mhm.
And just because that is not something that has come easy to me, it's not something, it was even something that I was like, will I ever be able to do that? And even I've had so many people telling me, my gosh, you're so brilliant. You have so many gifts. And yet it just wasn't something that could just naturally float through me. Like it just was like, no matter how much healing I was doing, I was like, why am I still struggling with this? Why is it that when people tell me, you are so damn confident, and I'm like, am I? And I'm like, something is off here. Something is not right. And I almost felt like I was, I'm like, so am I like, okay, people are seeing me like that, but I'm not valuing myself like that. Something is off here because then my clients are not fully receiving who they truly are if I'm somehow getting in my own way, right?
Mhm.
So it's been a journey of moving through that and letting go of the shame I had around how hard it's been to honor and value myself and really see who I truly am.
Mhm.
And it was when I was in, again, going back to Bali, and when I was in Thailand, and when I was in Spain, I just literally let spirit guide me to all of these places around the world where I was working in orphanages, where I was working in just local communities, just following literally like, spirit, tell me, where am I supposed to go tonight? Where am I supposed to sleep tonight? And I would literally, like, people would just flock to me, like come to me, like out of no, like, I need your help. Can you help me? And it was something that just started to naturally, wow, I guess I'm doing a little clearing on myself as we speak because I can feel it in my throat and in my heart, which is great because there's just always an opportunity to keep growing, like you said, through this experience of valuing ourselves. So it was in those experiences where, of course, like, this is not about, I wasn't doing this to make money. I was doing this because this is what lights me up. I love to be in situations that are beyond like uncomfortable, right? Where you're like, you're not a part of the culture, you don't know anybody. And here you are with people coming to you from like the most intense trauma that I've ever witnessed in my life, right? And there was something about that, Heather, that seeing how I could just go into these environments and just drop right in, I I began to see myself in a whole new way. I'm like, value? Yes, I'm valuable. Oh my gosh. it began to just all click, like all of my, like my background in special education and early intervention and all the healing modalities that I've studied, like it just all started to just come together. And it was like, wow, look at you. Look at what you are doing with these children. Look at what's happening when you're bringing these kids that don't even know you, that have so much trauma, hysterically crying, scared to talk to you, scared to let you hold their hands, and then witnessing them completely transform in front of your eyes. Like that's what I got to experience. So, I mean, yeah,
That's
that,
incredible. Honestly,
yeah.
I think that that's probably one of the most beautiful gifts you could have ever given yourself. Because what I'm hearing you say is that you chose to get out of your comfort zone, go into situations that were very difficult to navigate. You had to trust yourself enough to have the ability to adapt to the environment. And then through acts of service, by showing up and serving others, you were able to really step in and be present with that purpose. And through that purpose, it helped you validate all of your worth. Mm,
Yeah, it was so like I all these memories. I have so many videos. I'm like, wow, I should maybe just like go back and start finding little clips and sharing them so people can feel into more of like who am I and what do I do and why do I just understand people and get people. Like, I mean, I kind at times I kind of shocked myself. I'm like, I'm really doing this? Like, but then it was like, yeah, I am. This is just who I am. I've always been this way. And it was just like thank you, Spirit, for like putting me into these amazing experiences that will be with me the rest of my entire life, right? Always.
yeah. I mean, I think that this is so beautiful. You were able to trust in spirit, ask for the guidance. Through that, you had the ability to cultivate self-respect, self-trust, build that self-efficacy, that belief in self that you really truly have the ability to do this, pull this off, be present, make it happen, and provide value to others. Ah,
Yeah,
I mean, what a gift.
thank
What a
you.
gift.
Feels so good. Just feels so good. Even just to being able to speak about it, it's just like, yep. And then I go back in time, seeing all the kids and the memories. Just great experience.
That is just absolutely beautiful. So I can imagine as you're going through all of this process, right? Throughout this journey of being able to surrender, accept yourself, putting yourself into situations that were uncomfortable, unknown, all of these things, there had to be a sense of discomfort within the physical body, right?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, girl. That's a good. Yeah, wait till I tell you. Yes.
So, how were you able to navigate through all of this and somehow, some way cultivate a relationship and safety within yourself to truly enjoy being in the body and being able to be present and have the experiences?
Ooh. That question has layers upon layers. First off, I have never been more sick in my entire life than when I was traveling,
Uh,
ever. And it took and I knew, working in orphanages, drinking water, sometimes, quote unquote, filtered water that
right,
was not exactly clean water.
right. Looked like
And
my nettle tea here.
yeah. Oh, I was dreaming of those nettle tea, red clover, give it to me. No, wasn't exactly having that kind of stuff. But yeah, so it was in going into those experiences, right, where physically my body was hurting. My body was really hurting. And I knew that I was also clearing, like energetically doing a lot of clearing within myself. And sometimes not fully, not fully releasing, not fully letting go of what I was experiencing because I had never in my life seen things like this. Right. And so I just it started to show. I remember this one point where I was like, oh my gosh, I have so much pain in my gut. It felt like there was just like knives inside of me. And I'm like, this something is just not right here. And like it just kept building up. And I was having these like mini episodes for quite a while. And I'm like, but I'm here on this journey of a lifetime, and like so much is happening and I want to experience it all. But it forced me to become so close to myself in ways that I had never been able to before.
Mhm.
What I came to realize was how disconnected I was from my body,
Yeah.
so connected to other people, right? So aware of where the child or the adult, the caregiver, whoever I was working with, the therapist, I'm like, I can tell you exactly where you're holding it in your body.
Mhm.
But when it came to my body, I'm like, whoa, whoa. And I was already aware that I'm like, yeah, I know I'm sensitive. I know that I have rheumatoid arthritis. I know I'm working through gut sensitivities, but I didn't really see how beyond vulnerable and susceptible I was until I was in these experiences.
Mhm.
And I remember this one point where I was in Peru and I literally felt I was in bed and I felt like I was dying, like dying. Like I was in so much pain, excruciating pain. And here I was so excited. I'm going to give something to myself. I was going to go into my first ayahuasca ceremony. And here I was, I'm like, okay, all the work that I've done with everybody else, all the giving. And here I am. And I'm like, I can't do anything except love on myself,
Mhm.
except be with myself, except start to trust this body in ways that I've never been able to in my entire life.
Mhm.
And I had no idea how much I feared death.
Mhm.
I was terrified of death, but I needed to go through that experience to see how beyond strong I am and how much love that I have for myself and how resilient I am and how even though I didn't fully know that I would be open to receiving in the ways that I was, because, again, you're in another country. Like, can you trust this? Can you trust that? Like things that people are offering to you. And somehow I went into this very, very, very peaceful state. I've never, like, up until that point, like, I had never felt like I could access that when going through something that was so intense. Like, the pain was just, like, I remember laying in the shower and I'm giving myself an enema in the shower and I'm screaming at the top of my lungs and I'm in a guest house and I'm like, oh, well, people are going to have to hear me another, it's just like, this is part of it. Right.
Mhm.
And something like it just, again, click, 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 click. Like, oh yeah, I love this body so much. I know that she's going to come through on the other side. And at the same time, this is really funny, interesting. I was offering my first group program, and I had been like just putting myself out there, making as many connections as possible with people, just doing what I could. The internet is not reliable where I am and in multiple places that I was at, it's just like, and I'm like, but I want to do this. It's so important to me. And I'm like, okay. So it was incredible to watch me be able to access these parts of me, this strength, this deep, deep inner strength within me that was able to not only teach that group program, but able to soften my heart so much so that I didn't care. It was like, I don't care how this goes. I
Mhm.
know it's going to be absolutely perfect. And I know that I'm going through this so that I can show up in ways that I haven't been able to for myself, number one, and then for the group.
Wow.
So it was eye-opening.
Wow, that is so beautiful. You are just such a gift to the world, my friend. You truly, truly are. I really appreciate you coming from a very heart centered place of being able to share your experiences and through your experiences, how you've been able to cultivate skills that you can help teach others to do the same thing for themselves, right?
Yes.
It's
Yes.
kind of like reverse engineering the journey and being able to say to others, all right, so we're going to short track this
Yep.
journey that I went on. I had to go through all of that so I could show you ways to do it, but do it in a much more efficient time frame, right?
Yes. Yes.
So give the
Totally.
listeners 3 actionable steps that they can take to help support this continued healing journey that they're on, where they can either connect with their inner child, they can cultivate that value within, they can drop into their physical body and truly appreciate that physical body. What 3 tangible things can you suggest to
Mm,
the audience?
okay. Every single day before you get out of bed, I invite you to snuggle with yourself, get into a fetal position, hug yourself, hold yourself, tell yourself how much you love yourself, how much you treasure who you truly are. However that looks for you, make sure that you do not get out of bed until you connect with yourself, with your higher self, so that you can receive who you are, because nobody else can receive you before yourself. That's the first thing.
That's
And if
such
you're here to
a tip.
if you're here to do the deep dive of healing work, you've got to first make that commitment to yourself, right? So that's the first thing. The second thing is take as many breaks as possible throughout your day. You might be the kind of person that just goes, does your work, you have your routines, but give yourself kind of give yourself resets.
Mm-hmm.
Every one of us needs to have resets. And the resets can look like you going outside, standing in the sunshine, you taking off your shoes and going for a barefoot walk on the beach. It can look like anything. It could even be like getting on your rebounder for 5 minutes and turning up the music.
Mm-hmm.
Make sure, give yourself way more breaks than you ever have in your entire life, because the more that you slow down, the more that you show yourself how beyond valuable you are, number one, and how much of a powerful receiver you are at being with yourself, at dropping into your nervous system, at learning what it takes to have such an incredibly deep, connected relationship with yourself. That's number two. Number three, make sure at least once per day you go and you look at yourself in the mirror and you look specifically into your left eye. Your left eye, as I was taught, is looking through the eyes of God, looking through the eyes of the universe, through the eyes of source, and look deep within yourself and just stare into you without any expectations. Just stare inside of yourself, be with yourself, even if it's just for 1 minute each day. And the more that you keep building on that practice, the more that you keep becoming that much more comfortable with who you truly are, that much more in love with your magnificence, owning the gift that you are to this world. And that's it.
I think you nailed them, sister. My goodness. I think these are the secrets to life, right? The secrets to surrender, the secrets to success. I don't think anyone has ever given me such beautiful 3 actionable steps that someone can take to really coming back home to themselves and truly accepting, stepping in and embodying their power. Oh, Natalie, it's such a pleasure. Thank you so much for sharing so much with us. How can the audience find you?
Thank you so much. It's been so much fun to connect with you. And I'm just like, yay, let's play more. This is so much fun. I love it. I love it. So for all of you that are listening now, you can connect with me on Instagram. That's the easiest way, at Natalie_Kwait. And all of my offerings are in my link tree, so you can see what's coming. I've got a new group program that's going to be coming out this fall. So I would just invite you to head over to Instagram, stay connected with me. I'm constantly making stories, videos. It's just the best way to just, see who I really am. I'm very, like Heather said, I'm an open book. I'm incredibly vulnerable and transparent with you. And I think you'll get a real good tasting of what it's like to know who I am.
Absolutely. Well, I will make sure that I link all of that in the show notes so it makes it
Yay.
easy for individuals to find you. And again, thank you so much for showing up today, being your authentic self, sharing a piece of you with the rest of the world. It's so beautiful. It's
Thank
such a gift and a
you.
treasure. Thanks for joining us on the Think Yourself Healthy podcast. Make sure you leave a review and let me know what you think. I love reading your feedback. Come hang out with me on Instagram at Heather Duranja, and don't forget to take a screenshot that you're listening to the podcast and tag me. I love to share it. See you on the next episode.